early o'clock in the morning. Your boy I woke up with the sniffles. And I had promised, was a combination of things. I had promised you guys a video on making lemongrass or fevergrass tea. So what we're going to do, we're going to harvest some of this fevergrass here. Yeah. And we're going to go inside and organize a nice little tea, a little ginger fevergrass or lemongrass tea. You hear the sniffles? It's coming on. I wouldn't deal with it. I've got 6 cups of water in a deep pot coming up to a boil, and as that starts happening, I'll add the lemongrass or fevergrass directly into the pot. Leaves and everything. Now here's the thing. I don't want to have anything catching on fire. Just going to tuck that down. The root, nearer to the root or the root itself, will give you a more potent and more stronger lemongrass or fevergrass tea. The thing is, this is my first year, well, my second time planting lemongrass in Canada. The first time it didn't work out for me. This time I have quite a bit in the backyard, as you would have seen throughout the summer and at the start of the video. What I'm hoping for is by leaving the roots in the dirt, it would come back up in the spring. Now, don't quote me on that. I've never done it before, and I highly doubt it will work because I know it is not a plant that's native to North American sort of climate. So I have a feeling it will die. But I'm hoping that by leaving the roots in there and some of the stems, I will get a fresh growth next year. Or if we're in the Caribbean, where I can just root out piece and it'll just continue growing from the patch and it wouldn't die, I would use some of the root. You have to give it a good wash. First of all, give it a good wash. And I just wrapped up the leaves. You can cut it up. You can do whatever you want. It's just easier for me to handle this way. The other thing I'm going to go in with is about 3 slices of ginger. What I must say is that when I buy the organic ginger, it's a lot smaller, a lot tinier, not as fat as the cheaper Chinese ginger. The stuff coming out of China, you find those a bit thicker and all that. I find the organic one, and it was washed. I usually wash them and air dry before I put it into the fridge. So, and I don't peel ginger. I always use it with the skin on because I give it a good wash. But what I'm trying to get at is that in the Caribbean, you find that our ginger is a lot skinnier, but more potent, more stronger. You get that, all those oils, and even my fingers are smelling just wonderful from that ginger smell. So if you're using the stuff out of China, the big fat fleshy stuff, you may want to go with thicker slices. The other thing my mom would do from time to time when making this, especially for my father, is she would add a couple cloves of garlic in there as well too. That's just the way the man he likes ginger, garlic, and the fevergrass in there. So what we're gonna do now is bring that up to a boil. We're gonna let it simmer for about 3 or 4 minutes. We're gonna turn off the stove, let it steep for about 4 or 5 minutes, and that is essentially it. That is fevergrass tea or lemongrass tea. In this case, lemongrass and ginger. Now keep in mind, if you want this to be a bit stronger, you can add a bit more of that lemongrass or fevergrass. I keep flipping between the two because I grew up knowing this and calling this fevergrass. We had a big patch at the back of the house, and whenever anybody would be coming down with the flu or anything like that, Mommy would always organize a pot or a cup at least of fevergrass tea. We hated it. And this is why, I remember going to, I think it's either a Thai or a Vietnamese restaurant when I first immigrated to Canada. And the smell of it immediately reminded me of being sick and having this. It's kind of like, wow, I'm not sick, but why am I smelling it in the food? But anyhow, over the years, I've adopted it to several recipes. And I've got a wicked grilled chicken fevergrass, well, lemongrass, we'll call it lemongrass, grilled chicken recipe I'm going to share in the next day or 2. We've got a proper bubble going. So what I want to do now is lower my heat. I'm going to let that go for about 3 minutes now, and then shut off the stove. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me, email address down here,
I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them bots will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pod. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie.
All we got to do now is strain this into your cup, and you'll enjoy. Whether you want to add a teaspoon of sugar in there or some honey, it's totally up to you. What you can also do is, I slice the ginger to get more flavor out of it. You can smash it as well, or you can grate it in here. It's totally up to you. I really wish I had the opportunity to make more of these sort of herbal, sort of bush tea as we call it, because I grew up drinking quite a bit of this, from sour supple leaf tea to orange peel tea to lime bud, which is the baby leaves of the lime tree, zaba peak, all these different types of teas and herbal remedies and cures and stuff like that that my grandmother via her mother passed on to my father. And yeah, years and years of tradition. It's just I don't have access to those things here in Canada, but my next trip to the Caribbean, I'll sort you guys out if you're interested. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you all in the kitchen with me. Lemongrass or Fevergrass tea. I really hope you all get an opportunity to give this one a try, yeah?